A very good evening to everybody. So, today I am here to present and moderate a very interesting panel discussion. And before I move into the session, let me just give you a little bit of brief about what exactly is this and what we are doing, all people on the screen. So, you will come to know very shortly. Well, so when it comes to career, one quote comes to my mind is that from Confucius. So he says that choose a job you love and you will never have to work again. Well, I experienced this in my life. Well, this is also an appropriate quote for all our panelists and dignitaries who are present here on screen. They come from different academic backgrounds in science and technology, and they all chose to work together towards decoding the blueprint of life, the DNA, precisely genomics. Today, they are the shining stars in their respective fields and are eminent leaders. I welcome all of you in this leadership panel discussion and let us get enlightened about the importance of genomics in today's world and get shots of inspiration by unveiling their unimaginable and incredible journey. So, I welcome Debjani Shaha, AGM Marketing from Premas Life Sciences. Welcome,
Hi
Debjani.
everyone.
I welcome Raj Shekhar Chatterjee, Head Application Support, Premas Life Sciences. Welcome,
Hello,
Raj.
everybody. Thank you.
I welcome Sanjay Yadav, Vice President Support, Premas Life Sciences. Welcome, Sanjay.
Yeah, thanks, Karki. Hi, everyone.
And I welcome Yogindra Dawalkar, GM Commercial, Premas Life Sciences.
Hi
Welcome.
everyone, thanks Kargi for having
It's a
us.
pleasure to meet all of you, and it is a pleasure for me to moderate this session. Today, I am also a learner here, just like my audience. So, to my audience, if you are here and if you are excited as I am, then we also need shots of your encouragement and inspiration. Just quickly type that who you are and from where you are in the live comment box. And let's begin with this fantastic panel discussion. So my job is to shoot questions to all of you and just learn from your journey. Well, I would like to start with Debjani. So Debjani, please tell us your journey. I mean, how you did you land up what you are doing today? So I just want to know your exciting journey.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much to everyone who's logged in. I know it's a little late, and I just hope we're able to keep the interest on to actually justify your time at this hour. Uh, okay, to your question, Gargi. I think I've landed where I've landed as a matter of elimination of the professions that I didn't want to go to. I come from an academic background. My PhD is in molecular genetics, and after my PhD, I was actually looking at transitioning to the industry because I somehow knew that I didn't want to continue doing the bench work that I was doing at that point of time. And I started scouting around for industry opportunities, and I again out there I didn't want to go into R&D because it would have just meant an extension of what I was doing in the lab. I wanted to explore other avenues and wanted to get out of the ivory tower. So at that point of time, this proposition of kind of transitioning into technical marketing came about, and it was seeming very exciting because you got to remain in science, you got to evangelize science, and yet not be kind of associated with the challenges of lab work. So I just kind of grabbed the opportunities. Of course, the initial first couple of years was definitely a struggle because you had to unlearn a lot of things that you had picked up in the course of your PhD. But you know, eventually, I think I found my footing. And as far as genomics is concerned, I think it was a space. So I had never done high throughput genomics before. So essentially, it was an uncharted territory. But as soon as I got into it, one got to see the scope, one got to see the different applications that it could be possibly used for. And in fact, if you just see, every aspect of our lives today can potentially be touched by genomics. And that was something which was really exciting for me. So yeah, I mean, here I am a decade later. And, I'm really glad I am able to talk about it. And hopefully to the people who are listening, I hope I'm able to kind of give them an idea about what it is in course of this conversation.
Thank you, Devjani. That was very interesting, and we all know that, like, what strong academic background you have. So, well, with the same question, because this is just like we want to learn from your life journey, basically. So, I will come with the same question to Raj Shekhar. Raj, can you just share your incredible journey as well with all of us?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Gagi, and thanks everyone who has logged in. So, my journey in genomics actually started, or my interest actually started from my PhD days. So, the time when I joined my PhD and I was doing lab rotation. So, first year of PhD is always rotation among labs, among different things. So, at that time, the first human genome paper got published in simultaneously in Nature and Science, and there was a big uproar on this. Like, wow, finally we have the 3 GB worth of gene sequence which is known to us, and that is when I knew, like, this is the field I wanted to go to. So I transitioned in a lab, which was a molecular genetics lab, and at the same time started writing that. Luckily, our lab got a very good grant on human genome, so my work started in genomics and asthma. So I did my PhD over there, worked on candidate genes. So my journey started from Sanger sequencing in candidate genes. I did my postdoc from Washington University, where I did NGS for the very first time, next generation sequencing. And from there, I went to Cincinnati Children's Hospital, again, genomics of cardiology and cardiological disorder. Till that time, during my PhD and postdoc, a good around 10 years, I started to see myself more of a trainer instructor and less of a bench work researcher. So, because whenever I was training graduate students and all, I felt very good about it. So, incidentally, during that time when I was in my second postdoc, I got to know of this position and opening as an application scientist with Illumina in Premas, and I was like, why not? Miss this JD, the JD that is here, this actually aligns with the interest. Here, not only I will be able to learn, be a student of genomics throughout my life, but I will also be able to impart the knowledge and spread the awareness, spread what is new in it. And then I came to Primas, joined as an application scientist. Today I'm heading the application team. And to be very frank, for the last 20 years, I have been solely married to genomics, what I will say. And I haven't for a single instant like thought that I could have done anything else. So yeah, so this is my journey and I'm looking forward to continuing it.
Amazing, amazing. And the last word that you said, you're married to genomics. I think that's where your your thrust, your inspiration, and your enthusiasm comes, and that is how you are here, what you are today. Well, with the same question, I would now like to ask um, Sanjay to share his journey so that we get more shots of inspiration.
Hi, thanks, Gargi. Thanks. Hi, everyone who are listening in the call. So basically, my journey start. I did the diploma in electronics and communication. My background is basically engineering, and after that, I joined a small company which they were manufacturing of the some small instrument for the epilepsy. After that, I feel that I should go for the higher graduations. Then I go for the engineering in the electronics and communication. Then after that, I join a company that is was handling only one or two technology basically, and but I was fond of I was the you can say wanted to have the technology which can give me the immense knowledge into that and can go into the depth and play with the basically that technology like the instruments or that was handling and I basically I don't enjoy unless until there is a blast into electronic circuit or something else like that. That I was like since starting, and I was working on the, you can say, small component level in the electronics parts I was playing. And during the childhood also I was just repairing the, like the small instrument like mixie or something else, like heater. So that was my passion. And I did the, you can say, between the diploma and the higher graduation, I do the repairing of the TV. I learn about the repairing of the TV, transistor radio like that, and stereo like that. I did those things that it should happen. Like I should take the interest into that technology. Otherwise, there's no use. After that, I joined and working in this, the previous company. I was handling only one or two technology which were giving the every day. I was doing the repeated work, and I was feeling very bored, to be honest, at the time, that I should join some technology which can give me the challenge every day in the my career. Then I was, you can say, my when the I was working in that company, my boss friend was there working in the Premas Life Sciences, who was handling the Illumina technology, and we were sitting together to twice or thrice. Then I was discussing what is this instrument, what are technology you are handling the Primas, and what are the challenges you are getting this. We were discussing sometime on the, you can say, evening time. Then after that, by chance, I got the opportunity that guy left the Primas for the instruments. Then I joined the, I was having the connection with the, like the founder of the Primas Life Sciences. I was aware how the quality of the products and they are dealing with those things. And then I discussed with them, and finally I joined that technology. And after that I found that this technology is changing every in within 2 to 3 years, because the this technology is giving the new instrument. Every year we are getting the advanced version of the technology, and I enjoy till that time, I should say, as I have the full team, engineering team, and like that, they, I should say that they are getting the challenge every day after 10 to 12 years experience also, that the advancement and the technology and the challenges we are facing these days. And I can say the previous company had the one technology, but here we are getting the 5 6 technology in one system. Like the fluidic system are there, thermal are there, high end optics are there, BI part is there, software, hardware. And the most of the my classmate and engineer, they were interested to go into the software part, but I chose this hardware part as well as. And finally I got this the challenging job, and this genomics cutting edge technology. And this was the deciding factor to join this one, to be honest with you.
Fantastic, and it was a
Yeah,
very, very candid journey
yeah,
sharing. I must say
yeah,
that,
thanks
and I
again.
appreciate that is
Yeah,
fantastic. So,
yeah.
Yogendra, I would like to know your journey as well, and thank you for all the viewers who are giving fantastic and encouraging comments. Thank you for joining. So, Yogendra, please
Yeah, I mean,
enlighten
before I
us.
talk about myself, I would also like to comment here. I mean, Sanjay has been the backbone in ensuring that all the customers who are using our technologies are satisfied and supporting them to the best of the possibilities, he himself as well as his team. So thank you, Sanjay, for whatever you're
Thanks,
doing.
Yogi. Thank you so much.
And if I come back to me, I mean, I did my graduation and post graduation in microbiology, biochemistry, and analytical chemistry. And the initial 10 years of my career, I was working with analytical instruments. And before that stint with analytical, there was a part of our college course. I was working in a lab doing bioavailability testing. And that lab experience opened my eyes, and I was sure that lab is something I'll definitely not go to ever in my career as an operator or as a person working in the lab, because it's the same thing daily, day in and day out. So I wanted to experience something different. Uh, so as I said, I started with the analytical instruments group, and in that I got an opportunity due to a merger and acquisition to be a part of a life science team, and that basically created a interest. I mean, I was a little bit curious about life science as such, and I mean, in hindsight, I mean, whatever I learned in the microbiology and biochemistry, I was thinking maybe it could be of use here in this field. So I initially started there, and then I got opportunity to move into the forensics field. And forensics is basically everything to do with DNA, and that caught me up so much that just the satisfaction of helping a person uh, with the DNA technology to either identify a crime or give some sort of a peace to a patient or to a person in his problem. That was something which actually made me realize that this is something which I want to continue with. I continued in the field with one of the leading technology providers in genomics. And as time went by, I thought, okay, let me expand this from forensics to other areas of healthcare. And during that process, I ended up joining Premas after almost 20, 22 years in my career. And the last 3, 4 years, I've been associated with Premas, and this has taken me to a different level of genomics. And I'm really enjoying my time here, getting to interact with different scientific people, clinicians, people working in the field of agriculture. I mean, every field today is being touched by genomics, and that is what is giving a lot of satisfaction that you are able to make a difference to the quality of life that you have today. So I think that's it in my journey.
Amazing. I mean, all of you are, I understood one thing. All of you wanted, you did something which you really wanted, and you realized it, whether at the very early stage or in between, and you just went ahead. But I am sure that you have faced challenges as well. It's not an easy path that you have taken. Just one question by hearing all of your journey. So, molecular biologist, molecular geneticist, microbiologist, electronic engineer, all behind genomics at this point. That's incredible. Like, one question to all of you is that why did you choose the career that that you are doing today, or that you have traversed today? What was that why or the inspiration behind choosing your present career line? Yeah, I think
So
yeah, Yogendra, you can, yeah.
yeah, so basically, as I shared earlier, when I entered or when I was working with the field in the field of forensics, I could actually see that the effort being made by the scientific team there to provide a solution or to provide a closure for a case, they were really passionate about it. And when I was dealing in a technology which enabled them to reach their goals, that was a satisfaction that I got from the job. And if in the real life, if you see, and many of us study something and end up doing something else. And if today you have studied something and you are able to utilize that to make a difference in life in
Right.
any sort of way, I think that there is nothing much greater satisfaction that you can get. And that really is what genomics is all about. I mean, whether it is health, whether it is social, security, whether it is environment, whether it is the food you eat. I mean, genomics is touching in every space.
Every- right,
So I
absolutely.
think I don't need to say more about this. That's the reason. Basically, that's my motivation of this field.
In the textile industry, also we are using the genomics basically.
Oh,
That's a
is
surprise.
it?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, Paschima Sal or something like that. We can use the genomics into that one also.
This
Yeah.
is incredible information.
Yeah.
I never knew this.
Oh my God.
Awesome. So yeah, so Sanjay, why did you choose what you are doing today?
Yes, basically, as I told you, because I was having the repeated job there and I did not see the technology which can help me in the future. Then I see the oral, the technology, only the genomics and this instrument which is used in the genomics was the having the different technology and different knowledge level we were getting there, and hence I jumped into that one. That I got the opportunity when my friend was leaving, and I got entry into this one. Because and at the end, to be honest with me, when we are sleeping in the night, we are relaxed that we are doing something for the society, and genomics is the only part where we are using every part in the world. Any living being, we are using genomics. This is the relax to us to when we are sleeping in the night.
Fantastic. So Raj, the same question to you. Why did you choose this?
Yeah, so see, I'm in the position of field application scientist,
Mm,
and before that, I have been a scientist. Okay, so the thing is, like as I told beforehand, like I like the training part of it.
right.
I like giving training. I like learning, and this is one role, one area
Hmm.
where I can be the student and the teacher at the same
Correct.
time. So all the new cutting edge technologies associated with genomics, Sanjay is saying it is used in textile. People are growing, organ on chips,
Yeah,
Correct.
right?
correct.
So you have meat, which is not from an animal, meat grown in test tubes. You have information being stored in DNA data storage, which is going to become huge. It's going to, at one point of time, replace everything that we have as storage medium
Hmm.
right now.
Hmm.
So it's only going to go upward. Okay. God is someone who has chosen DNA as the storage unit, right? We can decode
Right.
dinosaur DNA, which have gone extinct like millions of years ago. So
Correct.
there is always, every day, there is something new to learn.
Hmm.
There is always something new to teach and help. The other part is like meeting people and helping them when they are in trouble. So one major aspect of my job is troubleshooting. So when people get stuck, we are there to help, and that is something, at the end of the day, when you are actually able to help them, this gives a different kind of pleasure, which like
Right.
maybe I cannot justify by telling here. So these are all the things which keeps me motivated day in and day out. So look forward to every new day, to learn new, to teach new, to preach new. So yeah, so this is something like which has really helped me choose this as a career.
So Debjani, to you now. Why did you choose this path?
So I think, again, about a decade back, I was a very, very confused PhD student who had absolutely no clue what I'm going to go into. And I believe it's very natural for kids, like, or, for students of any stage, like, be they, I mean, whether they're undergraduates, whether they're postgraduates, sometimes even after a PhD and a postdoc, people are not able to fathom what they want to do, at, as the next step. I think what really helped me was, I got the time to figure out this is what I wanted to do, because I was not at all sure, as I said before, that, I wanted to be in this field of technical marketing in the field of genomics, right? Um, of course, genomics as a field is really dynamic. It's very, very cutting edge, and as people have alluded before, I think there's something happening, literally every day, which is basically taking the entire field to a different level altogether. But also, there's so much of possibility of getting the technology from an aspirational stage to, democratizing it for an average, a common man. And that is the possibility that we're all collectively working on. I think that is something which is really exciting us on a daily basis. See, every day to get, kind of get up, leave your families, go to work, requires a motivation. And the bigger motivation is to be able to make a difference
Right.
in whatever you do in your own little way, right? So I think that is something. I mean, you have the bigger goal in mind, but it's the little victories every day that actually keep you going. So yeah, I mean, I think the immense possibility, and to get it to a common man, to be able to reach it to a common man, is something which is the larger objective for all of us.
Thank you, Devjani. And though, like, there are very lively comments that are coming in, but then though we will take few questions if we have time at the end. But then, as you said, a decade ago, you were a confused PhD student. So, in this context, I think this is a question which is from Gorja Bansal. The question is, in the last decade, how you find the genomics paradigm change in the country. So I think it's a little very relevant to this point. So anybody can highlight on this a bit, but then we'll go to the next part of our conversation.
I think, again, if I may take this question, I think uh, there has been a lot of awareness which has been generated in the country over the last decade. When I started out, I think it was looked as a luxury, technology of luxury, right? People did not really think they could have it, and they could have it as easily as they have it today, right? So I think over the past decade, we've seen, thanks to the many people who are now a part of this entire revolution. So when we started out, I think there weren't too many players to begin with, because I think as a nation, we're a little cautious about adopting anything new.
Right.
We're not very experimental, right? So there were a few early starters who actually got into the bandwagon, and it's because of those early starters and because of the domino effect that they created. There was a lot of awareness, there was a lot of word of mouth created for the technology, and people got to see the impact that it can generate, and that kind of snowballed into where we are at the moment. So, like, for instance, the in and a classic example of this is the entire COVID surveillance program. I think genomics became a living room conversation. Before that, an average layman would not talk about mutations or genetic variants of viruses, which could create a kind of severity in disease, right? And today we have all of that and much more. People are actually talking about genetic testing for oncology. People are actually talking about surveillance programs. People are actually talking about recreational genomics, finding out whether or not you have mutations in your genome which would predispose you to disease, etc. I I concur that we have a mile to go before we actually reach anywhere close to what's desirable. But I think at least the beginning has been made, and there is a lot of momentum that has been created by the several players which have come up in the industry. And it's a nice what do you say, symphony between the academic janta, and in the last few years a lot of private industry, private entities have come up to join the revolution. So I think people now see it as something which can be adopted very easily than aspirational, right? And of course, the drop of sequencing costs over the years have really helped the cause. Uh, I mean, again, like, I think everyone knows that the first human genome, when it was put together, costed over $3 billion, right? And today you can actually get a whole human genome in about $600 to $700 or less. And more recently, there are talks of a $200, $300 genome, right? So I think things have become a little more I mean, they have come a little more into the reach of normal people.
Thank you so much. I think, Gorja, you got your very insightful answer to your question. Well, moving to the next part of our conversation. Um, uh, since we're talking about genomics, and definitely we know the present status, and you all are, thought-provoking leaders in this field. So, in this context, let us understand from you that as leaders, leading people in this field, as experts in this field, how do you see, or what do you think is the future of genomics? So Yogendra, if you can highlight on this at the first go. I think you have to unmute. You are on mute.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So some of the points I think that we've just gone through. I mean, precision medicine, I mean, is one area which is being made possible by genomics. I mean, you can today look, I mean, previously you could not afford to think on those lines, but today you can consider uh, to give a medicine which is going to be applicable or going to be effective for an individual.
Right.
This is definitely an area which could be possible or is possible because of genomics. If you look at from a different perspective, if you look at agriculture, I mean, the amount of yield that you get from a particular crop.
Hmm.
Again, genomics is a major contributor to helping increasing the yield of crops. The quality of life, or maybe as I said earlier, security. I mean, forensics again helps in reducing crime or putting the criminals behind bars. So these are areas which are basically benefited. And I mean, this discussion actually on this one subject can go on for a long time. But
Correct.
I think these are a few points which I would like to say.
Okay, so coming to Devjani, Devjani, what is your opinion about the genomics? I mean, future of genomics.
I think genomics has such an immense scope in practically, like, of course, healthcare, as so many people have alluded before. I think healthcare is the prime segment that genomics is going to definitely, I mean, we're already seeing changes, but to be able to prevent diseases, to be able to cater to, like, an individualized, personalized care or personalized medicine, to be able to give you risk factors of diseases, of lifestyle disorders, to be able to tell you um, the mode of therapy, or to be able to tell you the prognosis of your disease. And like, the entire attention now is on the wellness and prevention than
Right.
on the cure part of it, right? And
Right.
it's going to go that way. So I think that is one big component where genomics is going to make a difference. So you
Hmm.
have options of biomarkers in the blood, which can actually tell you in a very early stage where your disease is progressing, like whether or not you're going to be coming down with the disease, or to be able to like, influence the food that we eat. Already we know that there is a limited land area available in the world, and
Hmm.
the population is burgeoning. So to be able to cater to the food requirements of the entire global population, we
Hmm.
would have to do something which is very, very dramatic in terms of, like, a genomic um, upgradation of the crops, food crops, which would basically cater to the entire world's food needs. That is something which genomics can do. To be able to actually deliver therapies, you're now hearing some great results coming in the field of gene editing, which
Right.
is basically having those strides in diseases like thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, and the lot, right? It's just the tip of the iceberg. And I think there is so much of promise there. So in every aspect, whether it's healthcare, food, as Yogi mentioned before, forensics, um, I think there is so much that genomics has in terms of future potential. Today, I think, as we like, exit one pandemic, you have a
Hmm.
silent pandemic, which is already there, which is AMR, right? And to be able to be well versed with what is going to hit you, so that you're completely prepared. I think during COVID times, we've had vaccines in a record production time. That was only made possible because the sequence was available for people to work on the
Right.
vaccine candidates, right? And imagine a world where anything that hits us can be effectively countered by your constant surveillance mechanisms, but also that in terms of the intervention, you're actually in a very, very short time, you're prepared with the vaccines to counter such threats. That is the future of genomics, where, as I said before, at the risk of repeating myself, it's basically going to touch the common man. It's not just going to be
Correct.
lab restricted. It's going to go beyond publications and touch an average person on the street.
Thank you, Debjani. And I'll come to Sanjay with the same question and take your insights, Sanjay.
Yeah, basically the as I think most of the things are covered by the Devjani and the Yogi. As a layman, I should say genomics is the blueprint, masterprint of any DNA of any human or the living beings. We are going for we are coding and decoding this one, and as most of the things are covered, as I said, but the I should say that genomics is a part of everything in the future. It will be there either it a DTC genomics. I should say in the DTC genomics, the mainly in India, the people are going for the astrologer for the Janam Patri. Like then we can go for the genome patri in the genomics part, as well as we go for the NIPT testing for the baby. If the baby is 2 to 3 months in the, you can say mother, this one for the before the birth, they can go for the testing also. And I should say that it can go for the environment testing or the forensic food everywhere where you would throw the stone, you get the genomics. To be honest, for the therapy, clinical diagnostic, everything, you get the genomics. This is the future. Looks to be now. Only the future of the genomics is there.
Thank you, Sanjay. And that
Yeah.
Genome Patriwala was very nice. So
Yeah.
coming to yeah, so coming to Raj with the like Raj, what do you feel about the future of genomics?
Okay, so as a scientist, let me go a little sci-fi on this. So the thing is, like, in the very immediate vicinity, what Yogi and what Devjani says is already happening. We know that not only during the COVID times did the sequence helped us, but most of the vaccines that came out were mRNA vaccines.
Right.
Okay, so the vaccines were also genetic vaccines that helped saved millions of lives.
Correct.
Similarly, tomorrow, like already organ on chip is a technology which has come. Tomorrow, instead of waiting for a donor heart, a
Hmm.
heart from your own tissues will be grown in a petri dish, in a big petri dish maybe, and then you won't be waiting in line for this thing. Using CRISPR, already gene editing is getting done. So we are getting designer babies right now, but it is also going to go beyond that. The
Hmm.
storage of data, as I told you, data storage is all going to be on DNA. So ATGC binary 001011 and 01. So these four and the four bits they match very well. So in the binary code in ATGC, the data is going to be stored. So these are some of the things that are definitely going to be in the future. Already there are some research that if we can tap the telomeres and if we can stop the degradation, we will stop aging. So who knows, after 10 years, we will really hit that, and then the aging process will be slow, and human will grow to live till 200 years with all those designer program without having disease or anything. So this is what finally, what do we need in the future? We need to grow. We need to have a good quality life, and we need to have a long. We all want to lead a long life, right?
Right.
So these are all the future of genomics. This is all how genomics is going to help us. And some of these we are already seeing now, and some of these we will definitely see in the next 10, 15 years.
Right. That was amazing, Raj. And to the same context, I'll like to start with you only, Raj. That what do you think? What are the key drivers of growth of life sciences? I mean, what is the how would you see the growth in these domains of life sciences and the clinicals? I mean, the healthcare area, because I think that's where the application or translation of all the things comes down to.
Right. See, again, it comes down to one very broad topic, that is quality of life. So
Yeah.
whatever we are doing in genomics in clinical space,
Mm.
it is to improve the quality of life. So everything
Mm-hmm.
is a subtype which is placed under it. So like longevity, we are looking at longevity, right?
Mm.
We are looking at, what do you say? We are looking at non-invasive testing. So already people are doing liquid biopsies. So you get blood, you get your cancer marker from your blood. You don't have to always go inside, cut the patient, right? So again, this is improving your quality of life prognosis. Sanjay has always already spoken about genome pathogen. It's very valid. My sister who got married 15 years back, their stars were matched. me and my wife, our beta thalassemia genes were matched. So this is already happening, and this
Correct.
is going to happen in the future. Then again, preventive medicines and vaccines, which will be
Right.
RNA based vaccines, these are going to come. So all these things, again, coming back, quality of life, improve the
Hmm.
quality of the life,
Hmm.
this is what is going to be the key driver, not in the space of only genomics or life sciences, but in all scientific spaces.
Thank you, Raj, for that wonderful insight. So, Sanjay, what is your opinion in this aspect? What do you think are the key drivers of growth in life sciences and the clinical domain?
I could see three or four drivers for the this one key drivers on the growth of the life
Mm-hmm.
sciences. Basically, one is the innovation. To be honest, it should continue work on the innovation of the technology. Second thing is the clinical awareness, because earlier days only the few people were aware about the genomics part. Now we can say that in every small cities or in small labs we can push that genomics and we can go into that one. And third thing is the price part, which Devjani said in the earlier question, that the cost of the genomics per genome is decreasing day by day. Earlier it
Right.
was the 20 or 30 time, but now it is around $200 that Devjani is coming. That's decreased a lot. And fourth thing is, if you're taking the question of the for data output, high
Hmm.
throughput, basically earlier the PhD students, they were doing the 5 year to 7 year PhD, only one genome on the 1 KB size or 1 MB size. I think Raj is aware, Raj would be agree on me, that the PhD student what they are doing on the this file size. But now it's totally changed, and the output of the one, you can say, run on the instrument or two runs, this is around
Hmm.
6 to 8 TB. We can run in 3 days, 3 or 4 days maximum. It means the PhD student who are working on those 1 KB or 1 MB files, they can do the analysis of 6 TB to 8 TB around 2 to 3 months, and then can focus on the research area on the other part also. So
Right.
this I'm looks to be, it's a lots of growth I can see into this one.
Thank you, Sanjay. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
wonderful listening and learning from you about this. So,
yeah. Thank you.
Yogindra, we will like to hear from you regarding this aspect as well. That what are the key drivers, i- uh, like in the life sciences and clinical domain?
Yeah, so just continuing with where Raj and Sanjay left off,
Mm-hmm.
I think today we are seeing after the COVID scenario, we are seeing that because genomics was there, people were able to detect an infection and take a preventive action against it. People were able to find sequence the genome of the virus and develop vaccines against it. People have been able to do a surveillance programs and trace the movement of the virus, how the infection is spreading. These are all areas which can help us learn and try to take preventive steps for the future. At the same time, I mean, if you look at areas related to health, I mean, everybody wants that their child should be either a great scholar or a sports person, depending upon each and everyone's wish. But there are certain tests using genomics which can help you find out whether you have a particular gene, which can help your child also be excelling at a particular trade, maybe at athletics or at sports. So these tests are called as direct to consumer tests. I mean, many of these tests can be used in different ways. I mean, it's as simple as whether in the future you will have graying of hair or becoming bald earlier. I mean, these are areas that can be uh, that information can be given to you by. And on the health front, precursors for illness, those can also be found out by genomics. So, I mean, it's a vast subject. I mean, more you talk about it, the more interesting it becomes.
Correct.
And it's really great fun to be in this field.
So, Devjani, coming to you and your insights on this.
So I think one of the so aside of what everyone mentioned, I think one of the biggest reasons for this real explosion, or potentially the use of genomics in every field, is the integration of different disciplines with genomics. So if today we were not able to handle so much data, we still aren't. It's not at the optimal level. But imagine like the integration of the data sciences, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and genomics. It's such a nice symphony wherein you are able to draw interpretations that have led to such amazing insights into every field possible. So I think that has really, really pushed genomics outside the boundaries that we could have never imagined. And that is one of the biggest reasons why there's so much of a promise which is remaining, which is yet to be utilized. I really think that if we can really harness the data analyzing and the data management capacities of different institutions, I think it can go to I don't know, like it can go up several notches from what it is currently. So I think that would definitely, and that's also the reason why the pharma's drug discovery initiatives have also gotten a push or a shot in their arm, because all the data which is being generated is like is being utilized to draw out conclusions, draw out interpretations, which can give you valuable insights into the molecular mechanisms of different diseases, and hence will help you to select the drug targets, etc., which will eventually influence healthcare.
Thank you so much. And we are almost halfway with our discussion, but I think it is so interesting. I think it can go for hours together, and it's such a learning for me as well as I'm sure all the audience who are with us right now and who will be listening to this conversation later in the recorded version. So, since we are talking about genomics, we understood from you the potential this field has, and definitely the shots of inspiration from your journey. That was amazing. But then today we wanted to understand that if genomics would be a career, like how you made your decisions, and you are are at the leading positions of a organization. So in that context, I see a very relevant question in the audience. So if you allow me, can I take that? Okay, thank you. So we have a question from Ayushi Saxena. Ayushi asks, what career options are available in genomics domain? How India is growing in this domain, and what opportunities can we see in future in terms of career? So I think it's an open question. So I think anybody of you can take up.
um, Anyone wants to take this question? Okay. Okay, I'll just probably go ahead with the answer. So
Mhm.
I think in terms of the number of careers, you can actually slot them into different baskets, right? One is, of course, the lab work that needs to be done, right? You
Right.
have lab personnel, you have lab manager positions, you have technical scientists, you have genomic scientists or clinical scientists who actually are looking after the lab part of things. Okay, the processing of samples, the entire molecular biology protocols that need to be followed, the sequencing or whatever. So the entire part, which is lab bound, is one option, wherein people who are actually interested in R&D careers can actually look after, I mean, can actually consider that option. The second is the data part. As I said, there is a huge data deluge that needs to be put into perspective once you're through with a genomics experiment, and that is one of the crucial, pieces which needs to be in order for anyone to make sense of the sequencing experiment, right? So you have data scientists, you have bioinformaticians, you have artificial intelligence people who would actually extrapolate that data to into more sample sets, etc. That is one aspect. There's a third category of people who are actually into the business of genomics. So you have the business development managers, you have the technical marketeers, you have the people who sell these concepts to the subscribers, who the potential users, and essentially spread the word of mouth. They are very, very crucial in the awareness part, right? So that is the third bucket. And of course, there's a lot of, there are a lot of opportunities in the IP part, where you're actually looking at the intellectual property part or the patenting, etc., which is another piece. Then there is a fifth piece, which is into the regulatory processes, because as we're going into more clinical avenues, you have a lot of regulatory concerns and regulatory aspects that need to be looked into. So there are people handling that part. And of course, the people who tie all of this are entrepreneurs who actually, are hemming the entire thing. So,
Wow.
and I'm not even being exhaustive. These are a few of the things which are career options in this field. And there are many, many more. This is basically just scratching the surface. Anyone else's feel, yeah, I mean, if you want to add something to this, please feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, I can jump in here. So another important aspect is, I mean, the clinicians who've been treating people till date, they've been following the conventional techniques. But with the advent of genomics, I mean, you have scope of implementing this, the decisions provided by genomics into the treatment of patients. So that is definitely one area. And another area is for a common man, I mean, who has gone into a doctor for some ailment and is their doctor has prescribed some test. So today there is actually a need of genetic counselors. So
Right.
these are the people who are able to actually explain to the end patient what is the need of this test, how this is going to help you, and what are the steps to be followed after getting the results. I mean, these are another, I think, couple of areas which I think are important, and there is a lot of scope in the future.
Thank you so much. Any other additions from Sanjay and Rajesh? Sanjay?
Yes, I
Yes.
would like to add from the engineering point of view. Basically, Yogi and Devjani has told about the biological part. I would like to add about from the engineering point of view. I can see this because I have my own experience in this field around 22 years experience. That because I have handled the one technology in the previous company, but here I can see around 7 to 8 parts of the technology, like the optics, fluidics, thermal, hardware, software, AI tool, BI part, everything we are using in only one system, and the whole competitor or whole genomics, I should say, they are using the same technology everywhere. In case the engineer is having the career path into the same field, that's very well. Otherwise they can shift into the one technology anywhere on the name of the genomics, and they would get the job immediately. To be honest, this is the career path. Number second, with the job Devjani, some things is technology from my view also, that anybody can start their own business to provide the infrastructure,
Correct.
lab setup, the you can say IT structure setup, and the other things. Many things are linked together, and we can have a massive career path into this line. To be honest, this is my feedback. Yeah.
Fantastic. Raj, any other career options are left? Well, I am feeling that I must go back a decade so that I can choose one option. There's so many options. That's great.
So there are multiple in any industry. Like Sanjay has told in textile industries, there's an option for
Yes.
genomics. Like in food testing, in
Mm.
food industries, you can do
Mm.
it. Even like might not be a good way, but tomorrow even doping will be genetic doping, right?
That,
So in the drug industries,
correct.
right? In health, in health is
Mm.
already there. So even cricketers, footballers, they have their
Mm.
genetic tests done, right?
Correct.
So it's enormous. In oceanology,
Mm.
right? So it doesn't stop even now after so many years. We very now and then listen that a new species have been discovered. So what makes a species? The changes in DNA, the change in expression of genes, these are all what makes a species different from others. So it's enormous. Like any career you choose, you can always have this soup of genomics in it,
Mm.
right? Starting from the
Right.
primordial soup. So yeah, so paths never end.
Amazing, amazing insight. I think whoever is listening to this, and if you are aspiring, if you are somebody who is aspiring to start your career, I think you have already got lot of buckets. I think already 10 buckets are ready, so you can start exploring, and you can, as Raj said, that you can start making your soup for genomics, and you can just take things forward. Well, I think we are talking about career, and now I personally I'm a healthcare professional. So in India, I just want to. This is a question that's running in my mind. So, what is the scope of healthcare professionals in India who choose a career in genomics? Is it possible at all to turn like, as you say, that from textile, from every oceanology, everywhere we can come down to make the genomic soup. So what about healthcare professionals? So uh, I would like your definitely. I'd like to hear those insights from you. Debjani, maybe I'll come to you with this.
So, like, I think in terms of the adoption of genomics by healthcare professionals, for one, I don't think any of them are required to make a transition really to learn genomics. They can do it on the job because there are a lot of CMEs happening for healthcare professionals, and they're being done by organizations like us. Like, we are doing these sessions for healthcare professionals pretty routinely, where we actually take sessions on how it can actually improve whatever they're doing, right?
Hmm.
But we also see a lot of healthcare professionals doing like a hybrid thing. Many of them are MBBS, MDs, who also gotten an additional degree. It could be a PhD, it could be something else
Hmm.
in genomics. So, and that kind of goes to show, how critical this knowledge is to understanding how they can actually better deliver outcomes in the space that they're operating in. And then, of course, you have the diagnostics and the pathology, chains, which have now they've started embracing, genomics as a part of the diagnostics routine, right? It, as I said, it's far from optimal, but at least there has been a beginning, and we hope for it to kind of uh, take a leap in the years to come. So diagnostics, pathology, clinicians, you have these, a lot of these epidemiologists, virologists, who have also, kind of embraced genomics as a field which can help them get more insights into how pathogens, etc., are evolving, and how it can have potentially an outcome on the infectivity or transmission of these different pathogens. So all of these are different branches of healthcare, but they are, they stand a chance to be nicely influenced in a very, very good way by genomics. Okay, and not just that, we also need a lot of economists to actually draw out the economics of, like, public health embracing of genomics, right? Because in our country, where means are really limited, we need to justify the use of advanced technologies in in the profitability that they exude, right? So today, if my country is going to invest an X amount of money in, say, setting up the infrastructure for doing these tests, what benefit is it going to actually get to the common people? So economists need to actually draw out that plan to actually show or demonstrate what is the benefit versus expenditure, so that governments or policymakers are influenced to bring that change. Because unless money is poured into public
Hmm.
institutions, I don't think we can actually have like a sea change in adoption. So I think we really need more people to work in that area to bring to people's notice, what are the cost versus benefit ratio.
Thank you, Debjani. That was a wonderful insight from you. And so I'll come to Sanjay with the same question. So, what is your opinion, Sanjay?
I think Devjani already told. So I would say that most of the things already covered by the Devjani. So I would, yeah.
Okay. So, any other insights from Yogendra and Raj, if you want to add on to regarding what is the scope of healthcare professionals taking up, genomics as a career option.
See, actually, again, like agree. So Deepjan has covered most of the points. So see,
Yeah.
again, in genomics also, one size doesn't fit all. So it depends. Like in healthcare, where you are at. So there are
Mm,
multiple career options for people who are currently in healthcare industry,
mm,
starting from like laboratory medicine to medical genomics to genetic counselors. Like a healthcare personnel can choose any of the careers. So, like for example, for organ transplantation, HLA typing is done. It is
mm,
done using NGS nowadays. Okay, so people who were basic healthcare professionals, they went into it. They started doing it, right? And the advantage a healthcare professional is like the mapping is already done by them, so they know how to map the population and how to like give the specific treatment or the need of the people over there, so the transition becomes much easier than a layman or maybe a fresh graduate student. So definitely with the experience they have as a healthcare professional, it becomes easier. Like a surgeon, if he understands genomics well before his surgery, discusses with the genetic counselor, he's always going to be more confident on what he's doing. So these kind of things are already there. So huge. Again, the scopes are huge. Devjan has already touched on quite a bit, but again, huge and separate. Again, I would say.
that was very nice. I would like, there's a pertinent question here which I missed, I think, which says that, okay, uh, what in your opinion are the top three challenges in the field of genomics right now? Anyway, we were coming back to the challenges, so I think there's a very very good question here, and you are all appropriate people to answer this. So it's an open question, so I think anybody can choose to answer.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
sorry,
you.
Raj, go ahead.
Okay, we'll take both insides. I think you
Okay,
get
so
the,
so
yeah,
so let
or
me
Raj. Yeah, Raj,
take a couple.
sure.
So one top challenges, one a couple of top challenges that are currently right there is, see, one thing is that though the cost of genomics based testings are dropping like anything, they're still not within the reach of a lot of common people.
Mm,
Okay, the cancer oncology testing, they are still, even after subsidy, they're in like tens or twenties of thousands of rupees, if not more. In fact,
mm,
mostly more. The second most challenge is that insurance coverage. Unlike the Western world, who has already adopted genomics as one of the diagnostic tests and covered under their panel, in India, mostly that is not covered. And third thing, from my point of view, I still feel is the education among masses. There are still a lot of old school clinicians who are very good in their job, but the adoption of genomics is still not where it should be, still not where most of the developed countries are. So in my views, these are the three most pertinent challenges that from the clinical focus in the area of genomics we see.
thank you, Raj. That was very insightful. Yes, Yogendra, we would like to hear from
I
you.
think I'll just continue to what Raj mentioned. I think awareness
Yes.
among the healthcare professionals, the clinicians,
Mm,
the labs, and also among the common man.
mm,
I mean, we have seen that the awareness is increasing in the last few years, especially as I said after COVID.
yes.
Molecular testing has become more common knowledge to people. Everybody is now aware about real-time PCR and sequencing, uh, because that has been in the news all across. I mean,
Right.
if you look at the growth in the number of labs in the last 2 years, from 200 molecular diagnostic labs to 5,000 labs in just an year and a half. So we definitely see the potential for expanding here,
Mm, mm,
but there is still scope for further expansion. And as Raj said, unless and until it is adopted more widely, the cost per test that we talk about, which is again as compared to a routine test, the cost per test in a genomics is always going to be higher. So that these are the areas where which can reduce the cost per test and bring it more closer to the common man. and if that can be combined with the insurance, so definitely, I mean, it
Right.
is our, I mean, urge to the insurance company to have a coverage. If there is anybody in from the insurance field in this attending this, I think that would be my message and request to him, that please consider this as a part of the insurance policies. Thank you.
I just
Thank
have
you.
a couple of
Yeah.
more things to add to whatever these gentlemen said. I think, I think even with all the promise that this field
Mm,
holds, I don't think we can mass scale it unless we have skill available of
mm,
people who can actually, perform those tests. And, it is, after all, it is a challenging technology. It's not very simple as of today. It's not like, plug and play, right? So we need a lot of skill development in this area, and secondly, we need a lot of data analysts who can actually um, processing power, b people who can actually interpret that data, right? So these two would be critical components for us to be able to actually realize the true power of this domain for large scale public use.
Yes, Debjani, I completely agree with you. And I think here is a very relevant question from one of our viewers here. Like, uh, like since we're talking about challenges right now, so Gorja asks that such a vast field, how you keep yourself updated with all application and technologies. So I think that's a very pertinent question. So it's open
I
question.
it's humanly impossible to keep yourself updated with
Updated.
every application of the technologies. The good part is, sometimes you're just forced to think, because the kind of customers we meet, the kind of clients we have such varied problems that
Hmm.
you won't be able to solve them unless you kind of keep up on your reading, right? And obviously you have to be aware of all the new technologies which are coming up, just to be more convincing to your clients that whatever they're using is the best, right? So I mean, to answer Gorja's question, it's humanly impossible to be completely on top of whatever is happening in this fast-paced field. But yes, I mean, thanks to the kind of customers that we interact with, I think I would say they keep us on our toes. So I think you have to keep up on your reading, just to make sure you present a convincing case to them.
I think
Thank
answer to
you.
the Gorja question, I would like to add here that we have to be multitasking and continuous reading, as Devjani said. This is the only option, as well as we have to be more active in the field, connect with the customers, and then we can get the better idea, to be honest.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just one point here. I mean,
Mhm.
uh, once you move around and meet people and understand their problems,
Right.
only after getting a question, most of the times you try to find out answers for it.
Answer.
I think that is the most important thing, to understand what is the need,
Correct.
and then you look at opportunities and places how you can solve that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, coming to the next question, which is, I think, very, very important, and all the audience would like to know, because you are the leaders in this field. So, and this is a leadership panel discussion. So, I think this question of mine would be very appropriate. So, what is your leadership mantra? So, let me start with Sanjay. Sanjay, what is your leadership
Okay,
mantra?
okay. Thank you, Argi. Thanks. So basically, I should say there is no magic formula about this one, about the leadership, and always believe in your leadership skills. Always, when you are discussing with anyone or your colleague or employee, you should treat them equally first of all. After that, you discuss, or you should be more, you can say, ethical and transparent and the honest, as well as you should have the one-to-one discussion with the team, or whenever you get any, you say, concern or this one issue with the team, then you have to go for the one-to-one discussion, give the feedback, as well as appreciate and motivate your team continuously. This will help a lot of things to improve those things. And sometime I used the heat model basically in the external customer as well as internal customer also. Heat means hear them out first of all, empathize and apologize in case any concern is there, and then you have to take action. This universal rule apply for the external as well as internal customer also. Thank you.
Fantastic. That was wonderful insight. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for that wonderful insight. So, Debjani, what is your leadership mantra?
There's no mantra, but I think what really keeps you going every day is the understanding that, obviously you can't achieve anything by playing alone. You have to rely on your team. You have to work as a team. And, like individual players can win matches, but as they say, teams win championships. So
Right.
you have to, I mean, you're only as strong as the weakest link in your team. So I think whatever the vision, the collective vision is, I think that can only be achieved if the team is in place and they trust each other. I think trust and mutual respect and to be able to bring the best in each other is something that all of us should aspire for. It's still a work in progress in my case, but I just hope that I'm able to do it like a little and improve on whatever I did yesterday, maybe today, little by little, so that at least you're getting, even if you're not at the optimal level, you're at least getting somewhere there.
Thank you, Debjani. Raj, coming to you, what is your leadership mantra?
Yeah, so my leadership mantra style, it's mostly situational. So I know that like no two people are alike, so you cannot have common set of rules for everyone. So you have to see people in your team who needs guidance, you have to guide them. People who are senior, people who are like by themselves, you have to delegate them more. So it's going to be different for different people. And like again, the other thing is you need to know that everyone have different days, good days and bad days. So you have to be more understanding with them, what's going on, and keep them motivated whatever it is going to. There are going to be days, off days, because of personal things, professional things. So we are like, at least me as an application scientist, our team are generally called when the customer is upset because something has failed or something has not worked. So
Right.
at that point of time, you really have to pull your socks up. If you also get demotivated there, how are you going to address the situation or the customer? So again, it's mostly case to case basis. But again, as Devjani says, everything has to stay together. All five fingers have different functions, different roles. But together, when you are playing a guitar, they make a beautiful melody. So you need to come together, you need to work together, and to guide them, to be the guiding hand, you need to understand each of them.
Right.
Okay, so this is the thing. I try to understand my team as much as I can, and then try to do the best with what they can do best.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Yogindra, what is your leadership mantra?
So, my leadership mantra, I would say, is learn from the past and focus on the future. And I would say this after this interaction today, if I'm able to inspire one person to come into the field of genomics, I think that is something that I will have a satisfaction of achieving with
Right.
this. So that's it. Thanks.
So thank you, and I think already you guys are fantastic, and you are doing a lot in your respective domains. But still, uh, I would like to ask you an open question: like, how are you contributing to the growth of genomics in your own domains? So, Raj, coming to you, can you just tell us how you are contributing to the growth of genomics? Raj, you are
Yeah,
on
yeah,
mute.
hi,
Yeah.
yes. So see, as I told you, like I think of myself as a student of genomics. I have been learning it for a long time, and then I try to act like an enabler as a teacher to people. I try to solve issues whenever someone is stuck over there. So what I see, like as an application scientist in my role as an enabler to actually serve multiple research or clinical domain, whereby even if with my input the task can be like advanced even a little bit, it's going to help, right? So that is one aspect, like to evaluate the problems and try to enable people, enable clinicians, enable researchers to do the work, to focus more on work. The second thing where I see myself like doing something from the field of genomics is to try and create skilled manpower. So we have this internship program which our application team does. So every quarter or so, we like give the internship opportunities to one or two people in the wet lab area where they can learn the technologies on field, and one or two in the dry lab or bioinformatics area. Because see, again, as Devjani has told before, there are two aspects, two major aspects to it: the experimentation part and the analysis part. So we are
Right.
trying to create that train manpower, and the program has been going on beautifully. We had actually trained quite a few people who are now doing pretty well for themselves and for the society. So this is where I think whatever little I could contribute in the field of genomics and whatever little I have, and I would like to keep this going.
Fantastic, Raj. And I think there was a question in the comments, and I think you have already answered that. What's Premas doing to boost the skilled manpower? I think I don't know what is your name because it says PG Biotech, but then I think you got your answer very well now. Uh, so coming with the
I think
same
the
question.
name is Praveen Gupta, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, so well, so Sanjay, how are you contributing to the growth of genomics?
Okay, thanks. So basically, I believe in one slogan which is given by the Delhi police. This is Sadaiv Aapke Saath 24 into 7. So I believe Premas Sport always Sadaiv Aapke Saath 24 into 7. This is the contribution because I'm acting as a supervisor for the pre-sales and the post-sales support activities. So I'm taking care of those things. So I have to believe there's no option to me, and we normally believe those things. And thanks to my team, to be honest, for the customer support, the logistic core team, and the engineering team, application and BI team, they are having the positive attitude and they work in the same fashion, same way to help our customers. And I did not feel I didn't face any experience where they denied and did not go on the side. That's the mantra of this contributing the growth of the genomics. Plus, addition to that one, basically for the customer also, when any runs fails in the any instruments, we normally go for the other arrange that run on the other site also, so that their sample should not be affected and it can be given on the time to the researcher or the patient timely. That can be given. Second thing, normally we provide the loaner kits also in case the customer is having the shortage of the kits in their stock and the shipment is not happening on timely from the principal company, then we provide some loaner arrangement also from one side to another site or something else, but at our own expense, Primas expense, local sport expense normally taken care by Primas only, so we don't charge anything those times. And during the
Oh,
warranty period, to be honest, we provide the this is the only one company I have the 22 years 23 years experience like that. During this warranty period, I have seen this amazing this support given by the principal, that the during the warranty you are getting the manpower free, means engineering support, application support, BI support, you are getting those free. Second thing, you are getting the DDP, duty paid replacement at their doorstep to the customers for the spare parts. Same in case anyone fails, we are giving the duty paid shipment at the doorstep step of the customers for the reagent replacement also. Means if there is a system in the warranty, no need to worry about anything, we are there for you. This is the, so
fantastic.
we are
This
supporting for the customers in India like that.
amazing. This
Yes,
is
please.
fantastic to know. And I think this is
Thank
very,
you.
very unique thing which I'm also hearing. So, Debjani, how are you contributing to the growth of genomics?
I think engaging, enabling, educating, that's my job. And supporting all my colleagues in their whatever they've mentioned. Essentially spreading the word. And just to answer PG Bartek's question, So Premas is engaging with a lot of academic institutions and private entities, and also we're doing a lot of standalone programs where we create, modules for both dry lab and wet lab workshops, wherein we select specific domains wherein we want to, kind of create a buzz around, and the program is created in such a way that the modules are not very very tiresome. However, it kind of gives an idea to the participants on, like, especially suppose if you're doing a dry lab workshop, we speak about various applications of, related to that particular domain. And often we've got national and international speakers to speak about the relevant topics, so that the participants, get an idea about what are the ways that they can actually evangelize genomics with. The wet lab workshops are centered more around, taking people through the entire process of creating the, libraries, etc., and doing the sequencing part and often data analysis, to actually give them a complete idea about how things are, especially when you actually look at the lab end of it, how things are executed. Not just that, we've also done a lot of these career sessions wherein, we educate kids, undergraduates, postgraduates, PhD students, etc., on the various avenues and, opportunities in our field, because we really believe that information is everything. 10 years back when I started out, I didn't have many of such avenues for getting the information. uh, I hope we can create at least some platforms wherein people can actually learn and, at least become more informed, so that
Right.
the choices that they make are, informed choices and not just flukes.
Thank you, Devjani. Thank you for that insight. And coming to Yogendra. So, Yogendra, please highlight how are you contributing to the growth of genomics?
So, quite simple. If you look at it, there are new innovations happening across, new technologies coming up. But these new technologies, most of the times, do not reach the right audiences
Yes.
till the time there is someone who actually takes it to them, helps them, or informs them, or provides them details about what is the technology about, how do you apply this technology to solve your problems, how do you put together a project so that you can ask for funding from a funding agency. I mean, these are areas which are critical. I mean, at the end of the day, everything revolves around funding. And if you are able to put up a proposal which can justify the funding, I think that's a very important step. And as we've been discussing the past an hour or so, that how genomics is helping uh, us to improve in various phases, that itself is supportive evidence that whatever you are asking for in the form of funding is justified. The next steps that we need to take is actually put that to use and ensure that we all are supporting that growth phase.
Thank you, Yogendra. And before to the last, I go to the last question. I think now that I know about PG Biotech, so there is one more question that I have to put on is, can you share the most quirky potential application of genomics in the future? I think we have discussed a lot, but then, yeah, just anyone can highlight on this.
Yeah, so somebody mentioned DNA storage, right? Imagine being able to store movies, and instead of
Ah,
like, instead of occupying all of that space in your computers and, hard disks and all. Imagine being able to store your music in like one little Eppendorf.
that is
So,
wonderful.
so actually, to add, this has already happened. We have a complete web series stored in DNA,
Don't
and the
tell
size
me.
of that is actually size of an Eppendorf. In fact, it is said that the whole data of the world can be stored in the back of a trailer truck. So because DNA is very compressed. So that has already happened, but the scale in which this is going to happen is going to be enormous. The other means quirky thing, and actually this is also happening, is like sequencing alien species. Okay, so that is also definitely going to happen. The astronauts are carrying pocket
Mm.
sequences with them, and yeah, so this is amazing. This is totally sci-fi.
Right. So we are not stopping on Earth. We are going beyond that with genomics, I guess. And that's wonderful to know. That's really interesting. And thank God I took this question because otherwise this information would have been missed. Fantastic. To the last question to all the leaders here, first of all, I would thank you for staying on for so long because your time is very, very precious, I know. So, Debjani, I will start with you. That what would be your advice to young people who are waiting or wanting to choose genomics as a career path?
As I said, I think there are loads of avenues available. So
Yes.
please make sure that you're networking from a very early stage and age. There is no right time to start networking. You can actually start very, very early because that's what's actually going to give you a lot of perspective on what are the different dimensions of the kind of jobs associated with any domain that you potentially are thinking of adopting, right? There's only so much that you read about in the internet. Of course, a lot of information is available, but it's also nice to basically reach out to people and just find out about the avenues, about the possibilities, about the opportunities, and and who knows, a good channel of networking can land you your plum job. So I would say if there was one suggestion or advice that I can give to anyone who's listening to this program, that would be, start networking, start reaching out, start getting informed.
Thank you, Devjani, because this is a very, very important thing that you said. Because I think you never know what opportunity is waiting, and until unless we tap or knock that door, we really don't know what's there. So I think this is a very, very precious insight and
And
advice.
one more thing that I can add, if I can add, whatever
Definitely.
you do it with a passion, which, like it doesn't matter if you're doing genomics, you can actually do anything. Like you can be in fashion designing, you can be into movie making, you can actually go into finance or accounting. But please whatever you're doing, do it with a passion. I think that is something which is indispensable in, getting success to your doorstep.
Thank you, Devjani, for that insightful advice. So, Raj, what would be your advice to young people who are waiting to take genomics as a career path?
See, again, genomics is here to stay. We are here for a very long haul. It is going to go beyond our lifetimes, to be very frank. So it's one of the few careers where you can actually directly touch the lives of masses, right? So the satisfaction you will get while choosing a right path or a right career in the field of genomics is going to be enormous. And then the kind of things like you need to keep growing your skills and growing your knowledge. So there was a question from Gorja, right? Like, how do you keep yourself updated? So you have to find your ways. Networking is one way. Like, talk to your friends. Someone will tell something which you don't know, and then you will be curious to learn more about it. So these are the things you need to take care of yourself. And then finally, that famous dialogue in Three Idiots by Fung Suk Wangdu, right? Strive for excellence, success will follow you. So just do that, network, read, strive for excellence, and just figure out, is this really what you want? And step in if this is really what you want. And then again, trust me, like my colleagues, my friends over here, you'll never look back.
Thank you, Raj. I think this was very important and very inspiring advice that you have given to young people who would be listening to this. And and for that matter, for everybody who are thinking or who might be inspired after hearing this panel discussion of ours. Well, so Sanjay, to you, we would like to know your advice to young people who are waiting to choose genomic as a career path.
Yeah, thanks, Gargi. Basically, I would like to give the message to the young people. Basically, so in case they want to come into this field, they should have the point number one. They should have the hunger to learn, because we are using the high-end technology, this technology, and people should have the same talent. Then we can match the things. Second thing, your basic concept should be clear, because I have seen during the interview, and those are people who are young generation, they are coming like the blank or something. Basic concept are not clear there when they are coming to there, but expectations are really high. So my request will be, and advice will be, first of all, you should go study your books, clear your basic concept, hunger to learn, and please focus the practical parts in the colleges or where you are studying there. Focus on their lab part also, practical things you have to perform there in the lab. And lastly, in case you join the genomics part, then you should have the hunger to learn finally. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. And last but not the least, Yogendra, your advice, please.
So, I mean, with this question, Gargi, actually, I remembered a few years back, I was called to give a talk about life skills to students in my daughter's class. And the simple example that I gave them was that whatever you choose, I mean, should be something that you enjoy. And it should be something like, for example, I mean, if you talk about a person who wants to discover new things, an R&D job is something that is very motivational for him. For a person who likes to go into data, or who is able to sit for a long lengths of time in front of the computer, I mean, bioinformatics is something which works well for him. So, depending upon what is your inclination, what you
Interest.
enjoy doing, I think that should be the way to move forward. And it's not just genomics, I would say, in any field that you select for yourself, uh, because only then you will enjoy your work, and going to work will not be a pain. uh, and then with that you will get the satisfaction, because that is the most important thing I feel, that getting satisfaction from whatever you do, that goes a long way.
Give
Thank you.
your 100%. Give your 100% is the best way.
Right. Thank you so much. And I think we overshooted time a bit, but I think it just felt like we are still just a few minutes. We are just discussing few minutes. But I really thank you, Debjani, Sanjay, Raj, Yogendra, for coming in and staying so long and hanging out here and giving such insightful advices, knowledge. And I think this is an eye opener for many of us, because there are certain things which I just learned right away, because like textile and genomics and outer space and genomics. I mean, this is so wonderful. And I thank you once again, and I hope that we also meet in future and do this kind of insightful program, so that at least, as you said, and all of you said, that we can do our bit. At least my bit is that I love to spread science. I love scientific communication. So I think I'll get another chance to bring all of you again here for such insightful talks. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Gargi.
thanks,
Thank
Gagi.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Gargi.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. And to all the audience, you were wonderful and you were sitting all the way with us. Actually, that is also very amazing. And thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good night.